Hi, today I want to tell you about something that recently happened to me and the stupid mistakes that I made that could have cost me my life. My name is Carol, and the name of my channel is Broke but Bountifully Blessed, in case you don't already know that. But just in case. This video is for Healthy Goals Wednesday, which is hosted by Gail from Gail Southern Living and Heather from Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. I was sick a few weeks back, and I want to share the experience because this can happen to anyone. And it could be deadly, especially if you make all of the same stupid mistakes that I made. I'm 74 now, but between the ages of 19 and 31, I had 5 babies. More than half of them weighed over 10 pounds at birth. I heard about Kegel exercises, but I did them about as often as I did sit ups. I knew I should be doing them both, but I never did. So a few years back, I noticed that I would lose control of my bladder when I was just inches away from the toilet. I sometimes made it to the toilet if I didn't look directly at the toilet, but I often dribbled a bit before I was in position. I started using protection at night for those little dribbles, and this went on for about 4 years. Many nights I didn't need protection, so I would save the disposable panties for the next night. Then one day, about a month ago, I started soaking between 3 and 5 depends every night. I just figured that I'm getting older and this was my new normal. I never once thought something might be wrong or that I should see a doctor. For the most part, I felt fine. So when I got a notice that a nearby church was hosting a food bank, I bussed down there with my dog. I have to take her everywhere with me. I can't leave her home alone, because the one time that I did, she barked the entire time that I was gone, and the people downstairs had complained to the landlord. It was in the upper 70s that day, and we had to leave early. The giveaway started at 5, but there were usually seeing eye dogs on the bus between 3 and 5 Monday through Friday, because that was when the Industry for the Blind, which was the last stop before mine, let out for work. The last time we went, we ended up getting kicked off the bus because that dog would not stop barking at those seeing eye dogs. So we left at 2, long before the dogs would be there. And we made a few stops along the way. I planned to bring a few extra bottles of water, but I forgot them. First, we bussed to the blessing box to drop off some things I couldn't use due to my food allergies. And we picked up a few things that I could use. I gave the dog some water at that point. She lapped it up, and I drank some myself. Then we walked the mile to the food bank. I could have taken the bus, but I had plenty of time. By the time we got there, we were almost out of water already. I gave what was left to the dog because she has had UTI problems in the past, and I didn't want her to get sick. It can be deadly for dogs, and it's quite expensive. We waited in the shade once we got to the church for about an hour before the giveaway. Then we walked about a half a mile to Taco John's, and I finally refilled the water bottle. The next day, I woke up feeling kind of dizzy, and I was confused, and I even fell a few times. Most of the time, I landed on my bed or the sofa, but I landed on the floor a few times too. And I was happy that I had practiced getting up from the floor because although it was a struggle, I was able to do it. During this whole ordeal, that was the only thing that I had done right. I was too confused to figure out what to do. I knew I should see a doctor, but my son couldn't keep the dog quiet, and I couldn't leave her home disturbing the neighbors. That day, while I was eating breakfast on my balcony, I started to feel better. I started to wonder if the dizziness was caused by carbon monoxide or possibly the wacky tobacco that I often smelled coming from other units in the building. So I called the fire department and asked them to come and test the air quality. It turned out that my air quality was fine, and I got a $75 bill for calling for nothing. It turns out that carbon monoxide is from gas furnaces, and I live in an all-electric building, and we don't have the furnace on in June anyway. They did take my vitals, and they told me that I might be dehydrated. This little bit of advice may seem simple, but it probably saved my life, and it was well worth the cost of the bill. I increased my water intake and much of the dizziness went away. However, I was still losing my balance, and although I was dizzy and confused, I realized that I should probably see a doctor. My former doctor had recently retired, and a new clinic had just recently been built just one bus away from my house, and I really wanted to go there. I wasn't sure if they took my insurance. I tried looking on their website, but I couldn't find the answer that I needed, and I was confused, so I kept giving up. Until the next time that I fell and realized I needed to see a doctor. By the time I finally got through to a customer service agent, he called the clinic from whatever country he was located in to the clinic down the street from me and asked if they accepted United Healthcare insurance. And he did this while he had me on the phone. I could have done that myself, but I didn't know that. So I was almost set. My insurance would cover. But remember, my dog has separation anxiety, and the people downstairs had already complained that she barked for hours the one time that I left her home alone. I had tried for months to rehome her, with no luck. I tried to call a friend to see if she could watch her. The friend had just gotten out of the hospital with kidney stones, and she didn't feel up to watching my dog. She suggested that I try Azo. I ordered some pills, and it helped. I took 2 pills every 4 hours, and I thought I was cured. Then the package of pills ran out, and I soon realized that I wasn't cured. I ordered more, and this time I read the package before I opened it. The new package said that I needed to see my doctor. The medicine was only a temporary fix. It was Friday, and my middle brother was going to be in town with his family for the weekend, and I hadn't seen him since our mom's funeral 9 years earlier. The last time we talked hadn't gone well, and I wanted to talk to him, so I decided to wait and go to the doctor the following Monday. My dog was allowed to come to my nephew's home, and she did fine with the other 4 dogs that were there. But once Monday arrived, I had to leave her home with my son, who hadn't been able to keep her quiet. Before I left, I took her for a mile-long walk, and I gave her a Dollar Tree Benadryl, and I fed her. When I went to the doctor, I was found to have a UTI and given antibiotics. And after 5 days, I was fine. But I still have more to say about this. I made a lot of stupid mistakes during this illness. Mistakes that could have cost me my life. First, I should have headed straight to the doctor when I started leaking more than a trickle. But I didn't. I didn't want to leave my dog home alone and barking. I was more worried about her disturbing the obnoxious people downstairs than I was about my own life. Now that is just plain stupidity. Second, I should have taken more water with me when I went to that food bank. The next time that I went, I took 2 extra bottles and I still ran out. Third, this is the dumbest part. I reduced the amount of water that I was drinking because I was leaking so much and using up the Depends so fast. I should have been drinking more, not less. Fourth, I shouldn't have been taking the Azo for so long. It works great for a temporary fix until you get to see the doctor. It reduced the symptoms so well that I thought I was cured. But as the doctor pointed out, if I take it more than a few days, it could actually cause bladder cancer. I took an entire package in about 7 days. Fifth, I should have gone to the doctor because I was falling down. Sixth, I should have checked to make sure that the clinic would accept my insurance before I got sick and confused. And seventh, I should have been doing my Kegel exercises several times a day so that I wouldn't be losing control of my bladder before I reached the toilet. Many of these things have changed. Well, that's my story, and I sure hope this helps somebody. If you start to leak, even if you're not having the itching and burning that you had the last time that you had a UTI, especially if the person you see when you look in the mirror is older than you feel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.